part of a broader collaborative group of architects who've done the Monash College project, Studiobird, Gilby Brewin architecture and Glas, landscape architecture and urban design. So I'm very proud to do that and work on their behalf. I guess the point of this project, we acknowledge obviously that we're building on Kulin Nation, and that this will be welcoming about 10,000 students from overseas, a very diverse bunch of very young students who will arrive, orient, settle, work, become curious and experience nature. And I guess when we structured our collaboration, it was all about trying to provide a way of dealing with those different experiences that the students might have when coming to Australia, and structuring a diversity engine with all of our practices involved to think hard about how we can actually solve some of these problems and move away from kind of a monolithic experience for the students. This is a consolidation project for Monash College. It's bringing all of their colleges from their various campuses to Docklands, which is obviously a great benefit to not only bring many students into Docklands, clearly in need of more people in that area, but also to kind of create a more direct link and desirability for those students. Basically, Monash bought a very large campus corporate building, which was unlettable, or at least was finding it difficult to find a tenant. It's located importantly along kind of the Collins Street between Southern Cross Station and the Docklands Park, with the historic sheds adjacent to it. And the two wintergardens we'll return to when we're running through the project. It is a vast building, corporate footprint of 42,000 square metres, over 5,000 square metres per level. So I guess one of the things that we tried to do, this is the corporate letting plan for the corporate, was to think how we would take it from a corporate campus to a learning campus for a lot of young international students coming into the project. I guess part of that was to think about the moving away from a corporate experience where, for instance, we could have a more clearly identified central entry into the campus, as you would see here, and to make that experience more porous, so connecting to the tram stops, bringing students more directly to the vertical circulation as key attributes of the way we're thinking about that space, but also giving the opportunities the ability to pause on the street and to meet each other in the public realm. From that entry, there's a large entry hall. We remove the retail tenancies which are unoccupied, so we could get a direct line of sight not only to the escalators, but to form a large gathering hall. And then the arcade obviously runs down and connects to the escalators. The escalators take you up into the building, but they're at the events hall, and in the events hall the idea is that students can inhabit, occupy in large groups and start to, I guess, form a community of learners in these kinds of spaces. Not only did we have to, I guess, make the vertical circulation performative with a larger number of students coming into the place, but we also had to remediate the open atriums, which we had for fire safety engineering. So part of that strategy was to not only do that, but create spaces within them that were usable. So looking at the typical new floor plate with the circulation nodes coming up into the building, one of the key moves was to kind of remove that knot of crazy stuff in the middle of the plan, create a strong street between the two atriums and the kitchens, which accompany the atriums, and then to form a loop and eventually clear connections into student-oriented space that then connect into the classrooms. The street and the loop is clearly wayfinding found through lighting strategies and the dispersion of informal learning opportunities that then connect to kitchens which are adjacent to the atriums. And these student kitchens were designed in collaboration with Monash University graphic design students. There's a diversity of spaces along the street, from large communal lounging spaces, a space designed by Studiobird, to more intimate student experience spaces, Gilby Brewin, and even active recreation spaces, more open to larger crowds of students hanging out within the floor plate. This is the former corporate garden that you can see in the atrium. And again, because of the fire engineering strategy with more high populations, those atriums were enclosed, and that gave us an opportunity to start to bring in a narrative of low-lying rainforests, two from both South America, one from South America, one from Asia, and then two indigenous landscapes in those atrium. And as you can see, they're mediated to effectively form great spaces for students, and the humidity in there is high and they're warmer, so consequently there is an experience for students to feel like they're actually not only in one homogeneous environment as well.
So as well as these contained landscapes that are actually inside the building, we recognise that inside this sort of container, a glass container, it is possible to try to really make a relationship to the surroundings, in particular this park, or we've tried to relate everywhere. But this corner, particularly on levels 5 and 6, we kept as a library, so it was a shared space for everybody in the building, with low levels so that you could see out. And it's a double-storey learning centre with a stair in the corner so that people can use the stair and the seating around the stair to really interact with the surrounding views. Low-level shelving, as discussed, and certain seating to allow that kind of relaxed relationship to the windows, and on the upper level there's also this kind of sense of lower-level furniture and views through.
That's 6 minutes.
Thank you. There's just a little bit of detail around the loop, which allows, by the way, interaction right through to the top facade with these breakout spaces, and down to the bottom. So there's a movement around and identity at each level, given through the university that the students are going to go to next. So we picked out these facades. This is Gilby Brewin actually, and the seating in the cores relating to each of these: Caulfield, Peninsula, Clayton, and Parkville. And of course, there's a lot of general teaching on each of these levels as well. So the main teaching that occurs here, and just to try and reiterate how this operates, because it's very difficult to explain quickly, but there's thousands of students as opposed to hundreds of people working in the building before, thousands of students coming in and out, 3-month turnovers for English language learning, so there's new people coming all the time. So that's one sort of bracket of the cohort, and there's another bracket which is people coming in for first year and doing it over 2 years, so that their English language can kind of run alongside at the same time. So every type of university subject is repeated at this building. So this is actually art and design, and then there's science, but there's also everything, business and music. So just to finish off, I wanted to thank you guys for noticing this project for the Melbourne Prize, because we couldn't really enter it into urban very easily. Stop. We couldn't enter it into urban, but we really feel that the people coming in is just going to make the biggest difference to this Docklands area. The upper whole levels is contained in a glass box, but everything that is possible on level 3, especially relating to the tram stop, is attempting to be a retail space where the public can come in. So there's this sort of breathing at the bottom and the interaction with the whole of the area, which is, I think, what those students can potentially do.